Hi everybody and welcome to this week's YouTube video. This week, as you will have seen from the title of the video, I am going to be showing you everything that I get up to with Blondie in a week. So today is Monday. I'm going to be filming 5 days worth of exercising and I will take you with me and show you what we get up to. So today we are going to do some long lining and some poles, hopefully. I'll see how she feels, and that will be the case all week, as in I will set a rough plan, but then I will maybe decide on the day that it's not the right thing or whatever it needs to be. So I'm just getting tacked up now, and then, yeah, take you with me and show you what we get up to. And I'll show you the good bits and the bad bits and the difficult bits and all the rest of it. Because, well, if I didn't, I may not have very much to show you because Blondie is a funny old girl. So I'm using the Equitex lunging roller. So it's got like a gap through here where you put the roller, and it's very, very protective. So it's nice and comfy for them. Still not sure about these things, are we? And our lunging roller is from a company called Equus, and it's very good. It's got these big rings on it. So Blondie is still sensitive about being tacked up, as you can see. She's not that keen on things going on around her middle. We try to do things really gently and like not do them up tightly, and I'm trying to, we're in the process of working out if there is a physical reason for that or if this is more sensitive historical trouble. It's a difficult balance to strike because work for her is very good for her PSSM muscles. So if you're new here, Blondie has PSSM, and it affects her muscles and it affects her calcium absorption. So we feed her a calcium supplement from Equifeast, it's a balancer, and then vitamin E and a very high fibre, fat, protein diet. So yeah, it's complicated. And there's a couple of videos. Oh God. If you'd like to learn more about Blondie, there are a couple of videos about her. Anyway, right, I need to put a bridle on. Can I borrow somebody just to come down and put some poles out in the arena? You there, Liz? Should you calm down for me? Huh? No, she's got someone.
She's got boots on.
Heading down. And you can see now she's very good about having a bridle on. She was pretty sticky with having a bridle on previously, and she really didn't like the idea of wearing it, but we found a bridle that is really comfortable for her and a bit that she really likes. So now this is our bridle. So it's a horsemanship saddlery bridle, and you can see how it fits really nicely behind her ears. She's just a very happy girl these days, aren't you? Much different. Oh, we do still stop on the driveway, which is interesting. Come on. I think sometimes a bit processing what she's doing, but yeah, anyway, right, I've got Lucy coming with me so we can set out some poles. We're going to do some poles. So I'm going to attempt to explain a little bit about why warm-up is so important for horses with PSSM. Warm-up is important for all horses, but for a horse like Blondie, it is, even more important than your average horse. So her PSSM, it affects her muscles. It affects how they function at a base core cellular level. Her muscles struggle to fire up, so they struggle to create that contraction and that extension that muscles require for pushing a horse along, essentially. This is due to the way that her genetic mutation manifests itself. I could get very complex, and maybe I will one day a little bit more, but for today I just want you to understand that it's a physical sticky feeling that she gets. So when you exercise, you get lactic acid buildup and you get kind of stiff. That would be how Blondie would initially feel. So this is why we do a lot in walk. Now, this is quite interesting here. You can see that she just kind of comes to a pole and grinds to a halt. Now, she has previously show jumped, and she has, I've seen videos of her jumping around courses of fences, but actually when given the choice and the discussion of can you walk over this pole in front of you, that is very difficult for her. You can see that she tends to jog when she goes over a pole, and I think this is also to do with her warming up, her not feeling very kind of settled in her body maybe, and it's just a bit of a confidence thing as well. She has the tendency to want to bite things, which I always think is very interesting. Like, she'll put it in her mouth, and then with a little bit of gentle encouragement and that open rope hand in front, so you see there's no tension on the lunge line at all. I'm just gently asking her to go forward. So in this session on the long lines, I walked her for about 15 minutes. Now, actually, she had already been on the horse walker this morning of the this video that I took, and she'd been on the walker for 20 minutes while her stable was mucked out, and that is also very good for her. I'm not a huge fan of horse walkers, if I'm 100% honest, but they definitely do serve a purpose if you don't have loads of turnout, or you are restricted, or you have a horse like Blondie who requires a lot of mobilization. So my aim here was just for her to walk calmly over all 3 poles. That's why I've set them out at such a distance like this. I didn't want her to have to think, okay, pole, pole, pole. I wanted pole, long bit of walk, and then another pole. But you see how always after the last pole, she tends to take a little jogging step. And I think sometimes that is because she doesn't really know how to do it slowly. Essentially, the videos that I did see of her jumping previously, she was going quite quick, and she would have the tendency to rush and not use her whole power. She's a big, very powerful horse, and actually I think she's only ever been operating kind of half power, So this walking is incredibly important to get her body warm and to get her to feel like she is able to start moving her body in a good way. We started doing a little bit of trotting now, so I'm not showing you the whole session. That would probably be quite boring. But, we are starting to add a little bit of the trot in before the poles, but predominantly working on the walk for her. I'm really encouraging her to do a huge amount of walk before we do anything any faster. So I'm taking a change of direction, and I'm going to go the other way. So a lot of the important thing for Blondie is that things are very balanced, and what I notice a lot is that her preferred rein changes sides for all the time. So sometimes she's better going left, sometimes she's better going right. For a long while she was really not very good at going right. She would park and tell me off and say no, I'm not going. And then this week actually we were finding it harder to go left. Later on in the week she has some Bodywork, and it's interesting because we're really unraveling everything for Blondie, and it's taken a long time to be at a point where she would allow us, but she's like a big old yellow onion, and we're just there peeling off the layers, helping her start to feel a little bit better, one layer at a time. So then I change the rein, and we do it all the same thing the other way. I don't then suddenly rush to go to trot. I make sure that the walk is very good, and that she is feeling soft in her body. So a lot of what I'm looking at is how she's holding herself in her body. I want her to have inside bend. That's why I've got my lunge line
that way round. So you see it's clipped on the roller and then through the bit. So I'm very mindful that I'm always creating a positive shape in her body. What I don't want is her to A, feel controlled or held, but B, that she is feeling in that good shape. She has inside bend and she's able to be soft through the inside rib cage. That leads into the groundwork that I do with her and I do with all the other horses. We focus a lot on them moving in a correct way through their body. You can see the little horse at the other end of the arena. She's doing lots of trotting. That's because she doesn't have PSSM, so I'm not, she could get trotting quite quickly. She'd maybe walk for 5 or 7 minutes and then she was able to do some trotting. But you can see every time when Blondie goes over the poles, her tendency is just to rush. And I'm mindful, I don't want to tell her off for it. I don't want to say, no, that's the wrong thing and pull her up. But I want to start creating a bit of slowness for her. So you can see when we come in trot, the control isn't really there. And it's all quite random. And I'm very mindful that I don't want to say, no, that's the wrong thing. Because now she's offering to go forwards. I want to take that. But you can see it's quite random. She doesn't make it over all of the poles. And I'm mindful I don't want to give her too strict of a structure. I want to just be there as a guide for her. I want her to choose to go over those poles and to feel like going over those poles is nice and easy. So we go back to the walk again. I think maybe I was chatting with Meg, making sure Meg was doing okay. I was just explaining to Meg about how she can help Patsy with the canter. Patsy was finding canter quite difficult and she would tend to break to trot or rush or whatever, and I was just explaining to Meg that she needed to make sure she had enough trot before the canter, but not a rushing trot, a forward trot. So I really got to a point on this day with Blondie where I established that actually trotting over the poles was just too much for her. And I wanted to work on just being able to walk calmly over one pole at a time. I'm really trying hard to rebuild positive associations for Blondie, and watching these videos back, I'm so glad that I do listen to her in that sense, because I could have just ploughed on and kept asking her to trot, but you can see every time she goes over the pole, she can't just restfully go over the pole. That pole has to create a tension in her body, and that is what makes her jog over the pole. So my pink lunge line is very loose and open. And there she nearly stayed in walk. You see, she almost gets too close to it, and then she feels like she needs to get her legs out of the way very quickly. I think she's super careful. She doesn't want to touch the pole. She doesn't like the pole bumping into her feet. So that is another part of the reason. But this is what I was really working on by the end of this session, was just giving her that time to slow down, to feel soft, and not to feel like there's any expectation of going fast. Walk is so underrated, and actually walking over a pole like this in this good frame is really, really beneficial for her. That time we very nearly had it. And then to finish with, in this session, I just wanted to do a little bit of the trot without the pole. So we're not going near the poles, we're just having a little trot and a stretch. I did some more work at the other end actually, but I didn't have that filmed. Honestly, I need a cameraman. We just did some really lovely work at the end without the poles. She was really soft and slow and smooth and easy. And I'm like, perfect, this is really good. I wasn't recording. Honestly, but it's so interesting. It's all right, you're not being chased up the drive. You're okay. Oh, there are horses doing that. It's all right, Dundee. You're okay. Ooh. Anyway, it's very interesting. I was just explaining to Meg that Blondie is she can't handle the poles slowly. And Meg said, oh, it looks like she just really doesn't want to touch them. And that is true, she really doesn't. But because she rushes to kind of not touch them because she's worried about touching the poles, she almost makes her life harder. So it's like a kind of a balance of getting her to slow down, which is why I have her on the long lines, because I have done some lunging with her just in a head collar loose, but she doesn't really have a management system of her own over the poles. So my thinking was, I'll have her on the long lines, I can guide her. There's a lot going on, I know. I can guide her that little bit more, which I could do today, because normally she just runs herself silly and gets really anxious because she's kind of wound herself up. So the idea is that we're kind of slowing everything down, but it's really, really hard for her, and so that's why we do a lot of walking, mainly walking, but then we did do a nice bit of trotting at the end without the poles, but you didn't see it. Yeah, I know. My landlords have got like a lot of people here most days at the moment doing a lot of work in their garden, and it just makes for like a lot going on basically. Right, let's untack. So that is what Blondie will do in terms of work today, and now she will go, well, once I've exercised Dee Dee, she will go in the field with Dee Dee for the rest of the day. And that's her day. Zora at the moment is not joining them in the field, sadly. Poor Zora actually has a broken splint bone. Well, I'm hoping actually by this point that it is no longer broken, but it got broken in the field. She got kicked by this horse, actually. We were trying to integrate this horse into the group and failed. My fault. I didn't do it properly. I didn't do enough introduction and all of these things. So yeah, right, Blondie can wear her back on track rug. So she has a ceramic rug. I talked about this in the last video to help her muscles. I've taken this off the mount. I'm gonna have to put this rug on, this rug, without you guys seeing. Hang on. So then I'm now rushing about. Client is here to have a long lining lesson with her young horse. So I am here to rushing down, but also Fanula, who is my bodywork lady, is here today, and she is going to be working with some of the horses, including Dee Dee. So maybe I will show you a little bit of what she does, but this is all about Blondie, so maybe not. Anyway, I've left Blondie in her back on track rug. I'm going to do some more long lining, and then she go in the field. But that's pretty much it for her today. And then she have a lovely groom and all the rest of it. But maybe I'll explain everything I'm feeding her as well this week, and it can become a what I feed my horses video too. Here they are, having a little bit of time in the field. Hi, are you okay? So they have this big field to enjoy. It's quite big. The gate's over there at the top. This is the other entrance. These best friends. It was really interesting when Zora got injured. These guys literally would stay up at that end, so they'd stay up where you can see the fence line. They'd literally just stay up there constantly, whereas now that Zora has been in for a little while, they've got more confident, as you can see. But they obviously were very reliant on Zora. I'm just eating my porridge. It's midday. It's 1 o'clock nearly. Honestly, what was my scheduling like? Welcome back. I say welcome back. You've not left. I left. It's now Tuesday. I'm now looking for Blondie's bit, and we are going to go and do some problem solving. Trying to hook the. Just had to drop those on the floor. We are going to do some problem solving today. So, Blondie is really good to ride now. She's much, much better. But she feels, interestingly, in the trot transitions, from walk to trot, like she is stuck with the handbrake on. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to do some testing of my theory, basically. So I have a theory that it might be to do with her trapezius muscles. So the muscles that sit up behind her shoulder blades and towards her withers. And that when the saddle is on, even though this saddle has been custom made for her, it is putting pressure on that. So before I had the saddle, I was riding her in the Equitex bareback pad, which I will show you. So it's like a riding pad, so it has a girth, so you can attach it properly, and then it really protects their back. It's incredibly padded. I'll show you it in a second once I finish putting this bit on this bridle. And my suspicion is that because she's so sensitive, even though the saddle is fitted perfectly, it is causing a problem. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tack her up as normal, take her to the arena with her saddle on, lunge her just lightly, just to see her moving in the saddle without a human being on, because if at that point she is very stuffy, then I will take the saddle off and I will ring the saddler and I'll say we need to find another solution to this, this isn't working, and I will ride her today in the bareback pad. So this is the Equitex bareback pad. As you can see, it is like super thick, and this part, it peels off, but this is the rider part. This part is made of memory foam, so it has like you sit into it and then it stays squashed. You see it springs back really slowly, whereas this part is made of the same as the Equitex foam, which is the saddle pads that I ride in. These saddle pads. So they have a half pad and the full pad combined. They're made of reflective foam. So memory foam squashes and stays squashed. Reflective foam springs back. So what this does is it moves with the horse's motion. So like with their muscles, it reflects their muscle movement and allows for new muscle to develop. It allows for freedom of movement. It allows for cushioning. It's the best. So the beauty of this riding pad is then you can ride your horse in safety, because it's very secure for the rider, because you really sit into it, but while protecting their back, because you can really see how padded that is. So that's the plan. So saddle on, lunging, see if we see the move, see if we see the change in her from the ground. If we don't see the change in her from the ground, rider on, see how that is. And then, because I want to show you guys, and I also want to really like be methodical about this, because with problem solving, it is all about science. We have to be methodical. We have to tick every box. We have to check the different places in their, check the different things off the list as such. And then we will ride in this and see if we then see a difference as well. So, right, I'm going to go and carry all of this tack, and I will see you with Blondie. That's the power of Equitex. Look at that. Bloody hell. That's gluey. This Equitex non-slip is one of their taglines. I mean, it moved obviously, but it didn't fall off remarkably, hanging. What tack tap? Tell you what, let's show everyone my own rope halters. If you go to my car, there's one on the back seat had rope halters made. So I sell them on my website. And I'll show you them. They're lovely. They're very beautiful. It's hard to get the right weighted rope in the UK. So I've had them designed specially so that they are the best of the best. So this is fresh out my car. So they are navy blue, little black accents. And the important bit is the rope. So this is like heavy rope, and it's not got a clip either. So they're designed so that if you shake the rope or you need to interact with the horse, it's not going to like bump them on the chin. But yeah, they're really lovely. I've spent a long time trying to find the right rope, tested out lots of different ones, and they can fit over bridles, under bridles, whatever you need. But
and they will fit a range of size horses from 13 hands to 18 hands, I reckon. So obviously you can see now I've put it over her bridle, it's a bit shorter there, but love it. Right, come on then. Come on, Sasspot. Suspicious. Always so suspicious. I just need to get a little bit nearer so I can put it on the gate. Definitely more resistant than without any saddle. Let's test that theory. Do you mind coming and taking this? Probably should have started like this. That would have been a bit more scientific of me, wouldn't it? So it was not that long ago that we couldn't go left, go right. But now we can go left. We can go right, but we can't go left. Interesting. So we're going to see if we see a difference with the saddle. Okay, right. I wouldn't say the saddle is necessarily causing a particular reaction. That's good. Oh my good God. This one. This trick. I'd like this trick, please. Blondie. That's so funny. She does it on there. She'd do it when I'm on her if I asked her to. I'm sure she would. I don't think I'd want to go climbing over the fence while riding her there. I can avoid it. Gonna go in the middle, Meg, please.
Yeah.
Why did you ask, Meg? I can't explain it. It feels better or worse. It feels so different. Do you think? Yeah. So, I'll explain what me and Meg are talking about. So, we've just taken Boots' shoes off. And he's worn shoes for a very long time. And Boots is a horse that you guys will have remembered. I've talked about him before. Meg now has him on loan. And we want to be able to turn him out with other horses. And the reason we hadn't taken his shoes off up to this point where his back feet were the problem, because he drags his toes a little bit. He's had hind suspensory issues in the past. So the fact he's now got no shoes on is because his front feet are very good, so his front feet are fine without shoes, but his back feet were what slowed us down. And Meg was just saying this is the first time she's schooled him. He feels completely different. He looks much lighter.
He feels better in the hand, but like his body feels a bit more like he's having to like work a bit harder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he'll be finding his balance, I guess.
He feels like he's struggling to find his balance.
Yeah. But the interesting thing will be as well, because he's also got arthritis in his neck, this is for the people on the YouTubes,
positive force going through his body now.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got a metal shoe on the end of his feet. Great news. Okay, well that's better than it was the other day anyway. Why are we stopping? Are we spooking?
I'll go stand on
It's just your world, isn't it, Blondie? We're just living in it. Looking around, seeing the nature. No idea why that is happening. Cricket guy? Okay, well, it's got much better, but I couldn't exactly tell you why. Because of this experiment, I'm going to ride in that. I want to see if it makes a difference, and then we'll go from there, because it doesn't feel like better, you know? He's made her girth up. So cool. Well, we can confirm it's probably not the saddle.
How is she on a hack?
Not like this. She said she don't like me bouncing. Well, that wasn't quite the fact-finding mission I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I have no answers. Not right now, anyway.
We're just doing some hacking, but I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit. I can't change my clothes, I'm so cold. I just want to talk a bit about the session I had with Blondie today, because it's really, really hard, because where we've come from, it's so far from where we've come from that it's hard to remember that we have actually made a lot of progress. So like with, you know, before, when I asked her to trot on the rope, she couldn't at all. Either way, either direction. And previously she would be more resistant to turn right. Now we're seeing that left. You know, and I think her body has been through so much. You know, she was previously so hormonal, she couldn't do anything. And I am, you know, we're still learning about what is going to help her. And of course, you know, no doubt the comments will be flooded with suggestions, which is fine, go right ahead. But for me, you know, a lot of it is a learning, and I just have to see these things not as, oh, this is the final destination, but this is just where we're at right now, and I need to know more about why we see what we see, and gain some help, have some help from other people that maybe have dealt with this before. We have looked at adding protein to her diet to help her, because if this is the PSSM and we're not feeding her enough, and that will be something that I do talk about this week, as in talk about what I'm feeding her, why I'm feeding it. We can absolutely go over all of that. But yeah, I'm not seeing it as failure. I'm seeing it very much as feedback, and that's all I can really do. I would have loved to have solved the problem that I'm having by just changing her saddle or putting the bareback pad on, but as you saw, it was actually worse when I was less balanced. So whereas previously the bareback pad, she quite liked it and she was moving and comfortable in it, but maybe it was the change for her today. As I've described her before, she doesn't like change, she feels very uncomfortable. So it's all very much a learning. I can't help but feel a bit demoralised, because we have had some much better sessions than that today, but that wouldn't be real life, right? I'm showing you real life. I'm not here sugarcoating it, am I? Goodness. So we will see, and we will keep learning, and maybe we can all learn something from Blondie, and that's why I'm sharing all of this. But I have never met a horse quite like that, and the difficulty is it's hard to have the veterinary help, because I'd quite like to have her hind suspensory scanned, for example, but how would I do that, because she's very reactive about having the vet anywhere near her. So I need to have a conversation with him about it and show him some videos and say, what are your thoughts, because she's so much better in so many ways, but this is still evidently a very big sticking point. But I'll show you tomorrow and we'll go hacking, and you'll see what she's like when we hack and how different she is. So, yeah. Anyway, that's Tuesday's update. Over and out.
Good morning, it is Wednesday. There is a lot going on at the yard this morning. My landlord is here with her dog trainer. She's got a big dog and she's teaching him to be like a police dog. So there's a lot of shouting going on in the garden. And then there are people digging up the top of the yard because there's a drain that's been leaking. And then there's the guys doing the work in the garden. So there's a lot going on. And I just walked into the barn and Blondie was there like this, like eyes on bloody stalks, thinking she's about to have a bad time. So we're gonna go out for a hack, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how nice today's going to be for Blondie. She looks like she's settled down a little bit now. I'm actually just packaging up a rope halter. Yeah, just packaging up a rope halter because it's being posted today, but... Good girl. Yes. At least she does get more confident. We are now taking the lead, storming out. Clara's having to trot to catch up. What's going on, Blondie? Why are you so inconsistent? This is like yesterday when I rode her though. Like yesterday when I rode her, you start and you can't do anything, and then there's like a random bit in the middle where she's really good and really forward and you think that there's nothing wrong with her and she's perfect, and then maybe potentially she'll go and be slow again. I don't know. With the hacking, it feels a lot like she, it's like sensory overload for her, and she, like, looks at everything. And then on the way back, because we go like round a loop and come back the same way, she's like processed it, so then it's not so bad. I don't know. If only I could be in her brain. Maybe I am in her brain. Maybe that's an ignorant thing to say. And maybe that is exactly what it is. That it's just a case of processing. Ooh! Don't walk into Clara, Blondie. She just put her ears back at you. That wouldn't be very helpful of her to kick you, would it? I don't need another horse. One of my horses being kicked. Patiently waiting to go out in the field. Lovely, happy, soft face she has these days. Hey, Blondie. Good girl. Here we go. Out to the field in a slightly haphazardous fashion. Oh, around the gate, everyone. Freedom! Freedom! Have a great time. See you in a bit. Good morning. It is day 4 of Blondie's working week. It is Thursday. Blondie's going to have a bit of a different day today, so we're going to go and we're going to do some groundwork today, and then she's having a bodywork session with Fanula, and I will show you a little bit what she gets up to and how it works, and maybe explain a little bit of what Fanula is doing. It's a nice sunny day today, so it's a good Blondie day. Sometimes when it's like windy and rainy, she's less happy because of her PSSM. It definitely like adds another element to her pressure. Hacking yesterday was nice and she felt really good. It's just really hard. It's like a real roller coaster with her, and I try and kind of mix her week and tailor her week to encourage improvement, but sometimes it's just difficult. And I've been thinking a lot about that ride that I had on Tuesday, and a lot about how my intention has a really important like power over Blondie sometimes, you know, in the sense of like if she feels my intention is more or stronger or kind of misaligned, then potentially it affects her. I'm sorry about me looking from here to here, because if I look here, I look at myself, and if I look here, I look at the camera. And because it's on front-facing camera, because it's the only way I can set my phone up in my car. Anyway, so yeah, as you're learning, it's a bit of a roller coaster with Blondie, but it's all right. We just go with it. And we're still changing things like the protein in her diet, so that may take some time to kind of work into her muscles and help her, because we added spirulina as a form of protein, because the ideal was that we wanted to add something that wasn't going to add anything other than the raw material that it was as such, and spirulina is a good option for that. So yeah, I will take you with me today and show you what we get up to. So today on the menu for Blondie Dundee is some groundwork. Now the groundwork that I practice is a lot about pressure and release, a lot about movement patterns, relaxation, following what the horse can give, and helping the horse to move in a positive and confident way. We've got 2 horses in the arena now, and we're going to set up some things to work with today. So we work with environmental pressures a lot of the time. Yes, good. And so the way that we work with the environmental pressures, we ask the horses to be around those things, and that they are then feeling confident and soft when they are near those more what you would maybe think would be uncomfortable items. So you can see Meg setting up the umbrella. And so what we'll do is we'll put this all out, and then we'll work the horses just from the ground, just with the basic patterns, and then we will work them around those tools. But we just start by just laying them out so that we've kind of got them out in the arena, because also for Blondie, like when we went hacking, you can see she's looking at everything, and then once she's processed things, she can then be more confident. So it's being able to help her understand that she can feel confident in these sort of human environment situations that we ask her to be in. And obviously, you know, if I just never wanted to ride her and maybe just wanted to let her be a horse in the field, which may come to be what she does long term if we can't get to a better place or a happier place. But for the time being, we can start to encourage her to broaden her environment. So you see I'm going through some really basic movement patterns. So we're going backwards and we're moving around. She finds bending harder. Good. But you can see that when we go through that pattern, that her posture starts to change, and she starts to find a different feeling of relaxation, because she's soft in the neck, restful in herself. And what you will notice if you start watching your own horse is that they can show you different signs of relaxation when you're just around them. So, for example, like twitching here is generally a sign that they're about to release in their mouth. Their eyes are nice and soft. Their ears are soft. Their posture is soft. So it's all of these things that we can be looking out for, that then we can help them with through this basic groundwork. You need to have a good rope halter. I sell them on my website. Little plug there. Really good. Really good. So it's all about finding this relaxation. And when I first started with Blondie, when I first started training her, she literally couldn't even allow me to touch her body like that, it would not have this sort of an effect. Now you can see it has this lovely positive softening effect on her, because she has learnt that this is where her body feels nice when she moves in this soft way. If you see a horse moving in, a sharp, anxious way, their body moves very quickly. They don't move in a rhythm. Whereas here, you can see 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, restful. And for Blondie, what we can do is we can use this check-in, this learning about her body, to see how she's feeling from one side to the other. So what I'm noticing today, for example, is that I can feel that on her right side, she's more fluent through the bend, whereas on the left side, she's less fluent. So maybe that... Bloody Pivo. Wrong horse, Pivo. So what I was just saying there before the Pivo started filming Meg instead of me, was that on the left side, I can really feel the difference through the left shoulder. She finds it more easy to step in on the left shoulder than out and through. So what I can then do is just use these patterns to open and close this side of the body, and to help her start to loosen those potentially tighter muscles. And this is what is so great, is that you have this opportunity to see their body, check in with their body, and understand what they've got going on. Good job. Bentley gone to sit under the umbrella over there. You're a funny dog. And I noticed that she has the tendency to step in on the left shoulder and across like that, rather than just in alignment. So here Blondie wants to go and see the umbrella, so we absolutely let her do that. She likes to put things in her mouth, explore. And this is something that she did not do to start with when she first came back to us. She wouldn't want to touch things, be near things. She would go, just be very averse to them. Good girl. Should we do some work with the umbrellas? You want to do some work with the umbrellas? Come on then. So I always start by asking them to move towards things. And this is a horse that has done a lot of this. So this is not something that we do on day one when we do the groundwork. And you can learn all about the groundwork that I do in a very consistent, uniform way on my online training platform. But for today, we show you the advanced stuff. Hey, Blondie Dondie. Oh, you okay? Something tickling you? What's that? Yeah? Right, we're just rolling, apparently. We're just rolling. Push your hand up into the middle of her neck a little bit. And then release. And just think about going a bit gently. Like less pressure. Even when you take the pressure up, you want to go a little bit less pressure. Better? Do you feel better now? You just want to be feral, don't you? No. Nope. Oh my god, chaos. Jesus Christ, Blondie. And taking it forward and out on the circle for Belle. So we ask her to move around the pressure, to move it a bit closer to the fence. And the ideal is that Blondie learns that when she's near the pressure, this is a place to slow down like that. And then when she's out of the pressure, I bring the energy up a little. I ask for more walk. And you can see the walk here is really positive. This is really, really good. And then I slow my energy. Good. And then I end the energy up. And then the energy comes down. Energy up. Energy down. Good girl. And I'd like there to be more bend in the neck as we move past the umbrella. So instead of my awareness being on her head, my awareness is going to be, oh dear, on her rib cage, which then makes it hard to see where my rope is. And I nearly take the umbrella with me. Chaos this morning for you guys. Good. So when I put my energy towards the rib cage, it gives the neck the opportunity to come towards me. What I don't want to do is be looking at her right eye, because that is going to draw her nose and ears away from me. And I want her to feel the bend through the middle of her body. Really good job. And I'm really mindful with Blondie that we want her to feel not like affronted by the groundwork, because I'm very mindful that I want her to read the energy of the situation. Come on. The energy of the situation over my directions as such, because I don't want her to feel like she has to do things. I want her to feel like this is a communication and that she can do the things. Good job. So it'll be interesting if we have a better response to the forward momentum on the left rein today, because we obviously got a bit stuck there on Tuesday when we were lunging before. Good. Good girl. So even just that increase in pace, for me, is really, really positive. Good girl. And it's subtle, you know, it's not big changes when we're in the presence of the pressure. Not yet. Good girl. Very good. Come on, stop eating the hedge, missus. Oh, bloody tarpaulin. I thought I'd weigh down the other side. Now I've got to weigh the front side down, apparently. It was the back side that had blown up before. What if anybody would like to sponsor us an indoor arena? We'd really like that. So I want her to be going forward off, like around it, and then slow over it. Oh, so not really like that. Oh, so I turn the hind leg from a distance. We make the work on the other side. I make the work here. Oh, turn, because the energy's gone up. We go the other way. And so it's a process. This isn't just fixed straight away. Good. Not so good. 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 So sometimes actually for Blondie, just thinking about it a bit more is actually what we need. Not that we're just desensitizing her, that she actually can find rest. Good. Oh, better. Over the tarpaulin. Good. Energy up. Energy down. Oh, better. Well done. Energy up. Good. So we're going to do some work with the stretching wall. So this is where we stretch our shoulders, isn't it? So Blondie has tightness through her shoulders. And so what we do is we use some positive reinforcement with treats to encourage them to pick up their legs and step up on the wall. She's really good at it. I'll show you. She loves it. It's her favourite. And maybe this is feedback for me that maybe we should be doing more positive reinforcement training. But this is part of what we're doing. Anyway, here we go. Good. Good job. As you can see, she's pretty keen on the whole thing. So I didn't start with this. I feel a bit like maybe that's why I didn't quite get what I was looking for in terms of the rest a little bit. So I just explained there that I did a bit my training in the wrong order because Blondie had taken me to the umbrella and shown her interest in the umbrella. I kind of went with that being the first thing that I worked on. But actually it was quite interesting to finish our session like this, having done some of that higher energy work. You can really see that she finds the rest with me controlling the pressure quite quickly. So it's essentially the same process. So I show her the pressure, I took her to it, she drew to it, she touched it, and then I put the pressure over her body, and you can see that she shows me these calming signals, softening the neck, walking slowly, really finding this relaxation in her body. And it was interesting, Meg was working with Belle in her session, and she did this pressure first and then moved on to the umbrella and the tarpaulin, and the process was more successful actually. And so it's really interesting to see Blondie softening like this with that flag over her body. And retrospect, I should have gone through this with her first as well. I think editing and watching videos back like this is such a valuable thing to do, and I implore for you all to go and spend some time videoing your horses and watching it back, learning about them and learning about yourself and what you're doing well and what you're not doing well, because you'll see in a moment in this clip that Blondie really starts to release and show that relaxation. So yeah, a very interesting process to have filmed this whole week with Blondie, and it's a learning experience for me as much as it is for you guys, no doubt. But yeah, if you would like to learn more about the groundwork that I'm practicing in these videos, then you can head over to my online training platform. I will post the link up here, top corner. You can click that and it will take you there. And all of the information about how I train horses is on my website as well. So if you wanted to gain a little bit more insight, then you can go and read about what I do there. But yeah, super interesting. And I am so glad that I can share this amazing way of training horses with you all. So yeah, we'll go back to the video now and just watch Blondie have this lovely moment.
Oh, good girl. Well done. It's a lot today, huh? Always important with Blondie to give her time at the end to really let go in this moment. Well done, my darling. Is that good? Was it good? Did it feel nice? Was that good works? You want to eat a flag? What a lovely day you're going to have. Groundwork, bodywork, field time. Good girl. That big soppy floppy face, huh? Oh, yeah. She sometimes yawns if you give her a snack. Here, look. Give her some snacks. So that is our groundwork session today. Lots to work on still, obviously, always. But just the fact that she just couldn't do any of it before, you know, and the fact that she is happy and consistent in a consistent way now. Like, she is like no horse I've trained before. Like, her, like, want to do it right is huge. But then her want to do it a bit her way. Blondie, wait, please. The rope is tangulated. Her want to do it a bit her way is also pretty strong. Come on. Come on. So, yeah, an interesting horse to work with, and one that definitely challenges me. Like, Meg had the similar session with Belle, and when just at the end she was doing some stuff with the tarpaulin, and Belle's like trotting on the open side, walking neck down over the tarpaulin, and I'm like, oh. And I said to Meg, I was like, why can't Blondie do that yet? And Meg was like, just not yet. And I've just got to remember, why do we stop on the driveway? Hard work walking up the hill? Am I not paying you enough attention? She's a funny girl, honestly. She really is. I learn something new every day with her.
And then it was time for bodywork. Obviously, Fanula was working with Blondie for over an hour, but I didn't film that much. But here you have this little clip. So I explain after this clip what it is that Fanula does. It's myofascial and craniosacral work, so it's very deep, looking at the fascia, the connective tissue in our bodies and their bodies. Fanula is one of the only people that Blondie will allow to treat her. She can be very difficult with new people, so it's really great that Fanula can work so deeply with her, and Blondie can be so trusting to allow her to help peel off the layers. So yeah, all the yawning for Blondie on this day. Look at her soft eyes. Oh, she's just loving it. So wonderful to have this help from wonderful people around me and my team. So just while I get on lovely Clara Lara, I'm going to try and explain to you a bit about what Fanula does. Fanula didn't want to be on YouTube, which is fair enough, but so she has explained the work that she does. So she, oh dear, try not to fall on your head, darling. Good girl. She is a myofascial and craniosacral bodywork lady, and the way that she works, here we go. So our bodies have an electrical field. Our hearts have electricity. Our whole body runs through an electrical field, through electrical impulses. Hang on, I just need to get on Clara and then I will come back. So we have electrical impulses in our body. Our body functions through that. That's how our heart pumps and all the rest of it. And so what Fanula is able to do is she is able to tap into that. It's called piezoelectricity, and she can then create a connection to like there was a word, I can't remember it, and then granular level of the fascia. So fascia is what connects our whole bodies, like every part of our bodies are connected to each other with fascia. So that's why you get compensation, and in horses, for example, if they had like hind limb discomfort, you would often see that as an unsettled mouth. So what it does is what she's able to do is she's able to work at that very, very deep level, so she can create the connections to that very deep fascia, and then the electricity, as in that piezoelectricity, that connection between her body and the horse's body, it warms up that functioning, like that part of the horse in that area, down to the collagen, which is what we are made out of, and it allows then the horse to start coming back to a homeostatic state. So it's all about helping the horse to improve at its most natural state, rather than feeling like it's kind of doing it for it as such. It's tapping into what that horse needs. So for example, when she's working with Blondie, she is looking at, like, there's a connection, she was saying, between the left fore and the right hind. And so when she can move the fascia in one place, it will allow the other place to get softer and looser and function in a more natural way. And for Blondie, you know, she spent such a long time not feeling good. Her whole body was uncomfortable and she was in season all of the time and all of those things. So this kind of therapy for Blondie is so beneficial, because, well, it's so beneficial for all of them, but particularly for a horse like Blondie, because it then enables her body to start functioning in the way it needs to function on its own. So yeah, really, really cool. I hope I didn't butcher that response too much. I probably did. Right, I need to get on and ride this horse now. Hi everyone, it's Friday. So I tend to work my horses 5 days a week, and then they get 2 days off in a row. I think this is the most beneficial for healing and recovery and learning as well, because they really tend to absorb over those 2 days, and then it all sinks in nicely. So Blondie had Bodywork yesterday. She's just there in the background. And so today we're just going to go for a little hack. And in the bareback pad, though, despite the fact that she told me the other day that it wasn't her favourite thing, Fanula said yesterday that actually the amount of work that she did in her shoulders, that her shoulders have really dropped and changed shape because the fascia all released and everything was much looser and much softer. Guys, dogs, Bentley, you don't need to do that. Go away, you two. So because of that, we are just going to go for a little gentle hack in our bareback pad, and we see how she feels today. So yeah, nothing in the school, no turns, just a nice gentle walk in a straight line. And I'm going to go through with you today what she eats, and I think that's pretty much it. So we're back to riding in this. You got something on your tummy? Eating biscuits and going hacking at the same time. Oh, we're off. Bye. Would you like to go hacking on your own? Or do you want to go on a trip on horse box? We just do exploring, don't we?
poop sniffing. Hi, Belle. Don't go down there. Oh my god. Come on. Let's go. Hello, boys. Rory, Vito, and Tilly. Hello, old boy. How's it going? You alright? Oh, we've stopped. Hello. No, we don't need to go and chat to him. No, we don't need to do that. Come on, get out of the hedge. Obviously. You feeling a bit more confident today, Dondies? Oh! Oh, well, you're certainly a girl, aren't you? Did you look at her funny boots? Poor guy. Just trying to be nice. Well, that's a bit better. There's a pram. Come on. You can do it. You know how to go towards things that you are afraid of. Good girl. That's it. It's just fallen over. We went past this the other day. Oh dear. Go on. Good girl. Come on, please. Good girl. Very frightening. So, do you want to go see the lorry? Let's go see the lorry. You said you wanted to see the lorry. Well, Dee Dee's coming out. Let's go see if you want to go and put your feet on it. So I'm going to go and... She's going out in the field again now. But I'm going to go and... Do you want to go on? Interested? I'm going to show you what I feed her. Can you put your feet on, front feet on? Interested? She's really interested, but we've not had great positive loading experiences. She went straight on when I first took her to the vets, when she had her marble put in, when she had her ovaries scanned to find out there was absolutely nothing wrong with her ovaries. And, but then to come back home, not keen. And ever since, she's been a bit unsure. So, but it's just interesting that she keeps bringing herself to the front of the ramp and maybe considering the idea that it might not be so bad. Can you come here for a snack? Can you? Oh, good. Can you come here for a snack? Oh, that's very brave. Good girl. Yeah, you need to do some exploring. That's all. Well done. Oh, goodness. You nearly just broke my kneecap, you monster. You remember the stretching wall debacle yesterday? Well, yes. She thinks that is what is required on the ramp, which is a good thing that she knows how to lift the leg up and out, but not really what I needed her to do. So that was lucky because her overzealous response nearly lost me my kneecap. Have a nice time. You're so beautiful, Blondie Dondie. Oh, hello! I do feed my horses in a very similar way, all of them, but there are some certain things that we do for Blondie. Now, I'm going to try not to go into too much detail because this video is going to be about 6 weeks long if I'm not careful, but I'm going to show you the things that we feed and why. I'll put the light on. So, let's find Blondie's feed. Blondie. What colour? Lime.
There's 2 line ones there. There's a line one there. I didn't make the feeds, so I don't know which feed is which. That must be her feed. So this must be her feed. Hang on. So this is Blondie's feed. So we have grass chaff. So this is, it's called valley grass, and it is just grass. And then she gets this balancer. So this is the Lamicor from Equifeast. Now this is a balancer specifically designed for horses with PSSM. So Blondie's muscles don't function properly. And so what we have to do is give her the minerals that she needs so that her muscles and her body can function properly again. So it's a vitamin and mineral complex including VCAL, chelated calcium and biotin, wheat germs, sunflower kernels, antioxidants. Active ingredients are MSM, fructooligosaccharides and something called psyllium. So this is designed specifically for horses with PSSM, problematic muscles, that kind of thing. This is another thing that we feed her. So this is the Premier Performance Sassy Mare, but there are a few things in the Sassy Mare that I was suggested to move out of it because of her PSSM, and this is then her custom formula because of that. So this is L-arginine, tyrosine, raspberry leaf. Additives are flaxseed, Agnus castor, dandelion root, manganese, milk thistle, and then some vitamins. And so what we've done is created a custom formula for Blondie. She then also gets naturally occurring vitamin E. This is, I can't even remember where the company is that I got this from. Progressive Earth, it's called. So it's an all-natural vitamin E supplement that, again, is for her muscles. And then we are now feeding her Seven Hills spirulina. Spirulina is a protein source, and this is what we are adding. So Blondie gets that feed with the balancer, and then she gets linseed, but there doesn't seem to be any linseed in here, which is weird. Has somebody muddled up the feeds? But then she gets micronized linseed, so she gets fat, fibre and a balancer, and then before we feed them the feeds, she gets half a scoop of Speedy Beet as well. Speedy Beet is very good for their gut. It's very good for it's a super fibre, so it's also very good in terms of feeding them more fibre because horses need fibre. So that is what Blondie eats. It's not very complicated, but it is exactly what she needs because it helps her body function in the best possible way. I'm still questioning if there is something that we can do that is better. Maybe the spirulina isn't going to add enough protein. Maybe we're not quite on top of things, or potentially, and Fanula does think potentially that because of her historic ways, I've got to work a bit more on how I'm asking her for things rather than just expecting her to give me the right answer. So a lot of learning for sure with this horse. So there we have it. Oh, a week in the life of Blondie. That's nice. You don't need to put your ears back. Oh dear. I hope you found this video interesting. It was very interesting to film it, and obviously, you know, it's not very perfect yet, is it? And I wasn't showing you to show you the perfect update. I was showing you to show you the very realistic update about how things are truly day to day. What are you looking at? She can hear the noise outside. They're attaching something to a trailer outside, and she's there like listening. What are you listening to, darling? But I don't feel demoralised or in any way negative about the way that things are going at the moment. Obviously it's not perfect and things are fluctuating all the time, but it's just such a learning experience with her, learning how she finds things difficult, finds things easy, what she enjoys, what she hates. It is still a bit of a mystery about certain things, but I'm really interested to see how the bodywork can help her really find that fluidity in her muscles a bit more, and that in that motion, and to go forwards a bit better and not have that sort of sticky kind of feeling. But that is where we are at right now, and so that is what we have to do. So I am going to finish this video here. I think I probably talked enough about Blondie, and I'll see you guys for next time. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye for now.